1, live.
And we're live. Alright. Hello, everyone. So, this is Chantelise, A Tale of Two Sisters. And yes, this is going to be anime. So, hold your horses. Alright. I'm going to just go on go. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so I hope you guys are speed readers because we're not going to pay attention to any of this text. And just to let you know, we see all the text boxes, so I hope you guys can keep up with the story. Yeah, this is really cute. So, what is this story? Now, these two sisters here have been cursed by a witch, and we're off to find this witch that gave us this horrible, horrible fairy curse, which honestly isn't all that bad, because, let's be real, Shantae's cute. But we're here to find that witch and defeat her. Now, we're really bad at the game, so we're stuck in this tutorial section, and for some reason this NPC spawns and starts talking to us. And then she disappears. Man, this is getting weird. So now the game drops all these gems on the floor. It's teaching us how magic works. You gotta pick them up. Hold the magic button to charge it up. Now we face the walls because we're in a spawn circle, and we're forcing the gems to spawn at the edge of the circle. And we're making these guys spawn the center of the screen. So there was a quick screen fade there in order for us to actually wander around this map. Now, this place is pretty lethal with these green slimes, but it's okay because we're protected by these iron balls. Man, they are tough. Now, you might be noticing that I'm cutting grass or hitting trees to get these gems. Certain environment items are guaranteed to drop, so we're taking advantage of that. Please pick up the gem. And we're gonna go over here, off to the side, to grab a hidden treasure. So every map has its own hidden treasure, which makes the game a little bit easier. Gonna pick up some gold, hit that hidden treasure, and it's a golden pedestal. Right. So the absolute worst thing about this is that we have to kill every enemy on screen before we can go to the next chapter. Now that NPC Ira, that we apparently saved, says that we can stay at her place for the time being, and we should talk to the locals, but turns out they don't have any information for us. So then, she recommends that we speak to the fortune teller across this other side of this very small map. And there's a note on the door that says, nope, fortune teller's not in, we gotta go to the Terran ruins. Getting destroyed by this dungeon right now. So we do have a health bar and an inventory on the upper right corner of our screen. And the minimap on the upper left corner tells us where red enemy icons are. So as you see, there is a small cutscene, or like a cut-in where these yellow barriers are blocking our way. Despawn. Now this game would probably be somewhere around 7 minutes long if that wasn't the case, and we could just run straight to the next map. But what fun would that be? Oh, oops. Take care of this guy first. Run across the bridge, spawn some of these blue slimes. I do need to pick up one of these red gems. One, yeah, that slime just had a fun day jumping off the stage. Magic is a little interesting in this. So we've got gems on the bottom left corner of our screen, and they're actually consumed left to right. We pick them up, and it pushes the gems over to the right. So we're using gems in the reverse order we pick them up, which can lead to some really weird gem management. So here's a barrel. Barrels are they usually have water gems in them. And these are eyebats. They're probably the worst thing in the game because they're flying, you have to jump for them, and they use magic attack, which is a horrible, horrible thing for us as we get absolutely no magic defense. Yeah, so we don't get any sort of magic defense throughout this run, so anything that casts magic or even remotely hits us with a magic affiliate or anything magic related, really, it's just gonna own us, as we don't really get all too much in terms of HP. But for now, we're just gonna clear out some enemies. A lot of gems dropped on the floor. We're gonna see if we can get a correct gem order here so that we can set up for the following room. Hey, these yellow small slimes behaved and decided to not jump off the stairs for once. Now, right there, you saw me running into the yellow gate or yellow barrier while defeating the last enemy. And that allows us to slide into the trigger while the cutscene is happening. So we interrupted the cutscene. Okay, we're at 4 health. This might be an interesting event. Let's see if I can manipulate some enemies to drop health. Gonna have to get some serious time here because... Oh! Alright, well, these eyebats are kind of in our way now, and that pink mist is also going to be a problem. Yep. Dang. Alright, well, we're back here. We don't have to kill the enemies, but I do need to have a certain gems to spawn, so we're going to hit some enemies along the way. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that we're in a, not an ideal situation. No red gems are spawning. Now, I am hitting these enemies because our weapon is sort of enchanted with some magic pixie dust. So we're just gonna hit these. I just need 1 gem. I was hoping one would spawn sooner, but I guess they didn't. Wow, thanks, blue slime. Alright, so these yellow berries don't exist. Now, we do have to clear enemies again, but we can kill stuff along the way. Then, those freaking... Okay, well, apparently I can't aim magic. Yeah, the trigger still exists, but we don't get the item inside of it. That's okay. So we've got significantly more health than we started with. Just clear out some enemies. Magic is horrible in this game. Okay. Just gonna pick up that health, because it's just lying around and we don't want food to go bad. Alright, so if we had gotten some ideal gems, we could have gotten back here and gotten this nice barrel chicken, which I will grab. Barrel chicken, it's great. Tastes like water. So once again, we still have to clear out some enemies. That yellow berry is really annoying. Now, we are missing a red gem, but torches drop red gems, and certain tall grass drops green gems, so now we're ready to go. straight into meeting Elma. This apparently beautiful, I say apparently beautiful because this isn't really what she looks like. But we'll find out about that later. Yeah, the art style and the gameplay, it's quite nice, especially considering that this isn't made by a super, like, big company. It's just made by a few guys in their basement. So Easy Game Station does a pretty good job having smooth animations. Also, yeah, this was a boss. It was a lot easier to deal with than everything else on the map. As for Nemo mentioning Reciteer, this game was released before Reciteer, so if you have played that game, you're gonna notice a lot of textures. So it's really interesting that these bosses, they have an enormous health pool compared to everything else in this game. So that boss there, the Terran Golem, he has about 1,500 HP. So on your first time that you meet him, you're just supposed to get absolutely destroyed. And you're like, yeah, you just kind of sit there dumbfounded at the just sheer damage he does and his enormous health pool. As these enemies I'm beating up right now, they have about 50 health. So, yeah. But, fun fact, bosses are actually easier than overworld enemies, despite them dealing enormous amounts of damage and having an enormous health pool. Probably because we're just gonna 1v1 them. So you know how it is. So, we are in Ignin ruins. Ignin being fire, and Terran being earth. So these dungeons are element theme based, and we can take advantage of that. I'm gonna grab some gems here. There is an annoying bee at the top of this wooden log. And he got destroyed. Very annoying because the only way you can hit him is you lock on. But if you lock on and then you start moving, he falls off the tree. And yes, we went through a wall. Yeah, so that bee just falls off a tree, and then you have to fall off and chase him, and it's just, ugh. It's a terrible bee to encounter. Also, boulders. They're fun. So a fun fact about these boulders is that they're physics-based. Which I was kind of surprised at when I first found out about it, because they have like these jagged edges and like spherical polygon shapes, but they actually fall. They're not. Their hitboxes are not spheres. They're just whatever they look like jagged boulders. So there's some sort of physics engine in here that I was quite surprised about, and they don't really use it all too often. Also, here's an insane chest that you're never supposed to find out. I want that gem. It gives you tough gloves, which is an upgrade to our physical attack. So to make things a little bit clearer, gloves increase our physical attack. We don't actually pick up any weapons other than the ones that we're using right now. So we're stuck with our current attack setup. But we get to pick up magic gems to help us on our adventure. And the boots that we're wearing is considered an accessory, not a piece of armor. And the shield is considered a piece of defensive equipment. So we can wear up to 2 gloves, 2 necklaces, certain accessories can only have 1, but generally it's 2 of each type. But as you can see, we only have 3 inventory slots right now. And we've got an extremely small health pool for where we're supposed to be. Generally, you're supposed to have somewhere in between 60 to 70 HP going into this area, as they expect you to die a lot. So we're gonna be technically under-leveled, or just have a really small health pool for the entire game. But that's okay. At some point, we'll get 100 HP. And when that happens, we technically have infinite health, because things just can't kill us with that amount. So somewhere along the lines, we should somehow get infinite health. But for now, we're stuck with half of infinite health. So I haven't really been talking about enemies all too much. These are bombs. Yeah, they explode on death. And an interesting thing about death is that for every time an enemy dies, the screen actually pauses for a frame. And the same thing with hitting an enemy. It pauses for 1 frame. So you kinda want to hit as many enemies in 1 attack as possible. And you kinda want to kill as many enemies in, like, on the same frame as possible. It's pretty hard. Apparently one of the bees, oh, not the bees, one of the bombs survived. I know, immortality. Oh, we'll just pick up this gem over here. It's funny that you mention a fairy with a knife, because the fairy is actually dealing more damage than the fairy being Shantae is dealing more damage than Elise does. But Elise is your, like, Elise is the one taking a lot of the frontal force. So you gotta appreciate the effort that she puts in. So we're gonna gem carry. Gem carrying is when you use the press and hold the magic button for about 10-15 seconds. I think it's like 10 seconds. And you can actually hold the gem in Shantae's hands. Technically her hands. Which doesn't take up a gem slot on the bottom left-hand corner. So gem carrying means we can carry more gems than we can actually hold. But if we hold it for too long, then we drop those gems, which allows us to reorder the gems that we have in our inventory. Because sometimes you don't want to have current gems, and you don't want to just cast the magic because you need them. For example, you have the yellow gems, which are earth-based. If you have one of them, it uses Hammer Ball, and Hammer Ball can really, really screw up with enemies' stun patterns. So we're gonna just not have that happen. Okay, we want blue gems. So, wait, the yellow berry didn't drop yet. Oh, wow, this guy just gets owned by this ice because he's fire. And then I get owned from the explosion because I'm bad and got hit by it. Now, we are in the Ignin ruins, and you may have noticed that I'm picking up a lot of blue gems, which shouldn't be, because I need 2 greens. So, we're picking up a lot of blue gems, because we're going to need that for the boss. And blue gems are water, and fire and water cancel each other out, or at least they deal a ton of damage to each other. I'm not really sure which one it is. The skeletons are earth, so we're going to use some wind to deal with them quickly. Nice crits that we sort of don't want. So, okay, so here's the weird thing about crits. We don't want them, because when a crit animation happens, it sort of delays the game. And everything's been routed so that we deal high amounts of damage anyways, which allows us to just kind of work with what we have rather than relying on random chance to crit. Kind of like that. Ah! The wall! It's too strong. 2... So it's really not that noticeable, but enemies will spawn or like render on your screen, which is technically spawning in our case. So please hit that. Thanks. Please pick up the gem. Thank you. Right, so enemies will render on your screen. Or they technically count as spawning if they render on your screen. And you need to be within a certain radius of them. I know, the first video game you've ever heard where crits are bad. I mean, there are some cases that they're good, but more often than not, they're bad. Alright, so about spawn circles. When we get close enough to an enemy, they render on your screen and then they spawn. And once they spawn, their attack patterns and movements start. And even if they don't appear on your screen and they like de-render, because you just went too far behind a wall or something, they continue to do whatever their actions are. So you may notice that a lot of the time we're gonna hit enemies the moment they spawn, so that we can sort of delay their animations. That was a case of gem carrying and gem dropping. So we're gonna carry those gems, drop them further ahead, so that we can use them for later. Now we're fully stacked on blue gems. Let's go. I'm gonna fight probably the most horrible boss in this video game. Oh, right. Here's a mural, and there's supposedly some really evil enemy on there, and some person carrying a sword, and a little fairy that looks like Navi, but we're not entirely sure what that means. But here's Volcanic Crab. Is apparently chasing Elise all the way here, and now we have to deal with it. Shoutouts to Sloppy Seconds. That was a crit. I do need to be very careful about where to stand on this boss, as you can only hit it in the face. That's a little slow, that's fine. So yeah, you do need to be careful, because if you don't hit it in the face or its general face area, then you hit it for 0 damage, and then it can get a free hit off of you for like 20 hit points, and you only have like 40. But yeah, this crab is absolutely horrible, and not only casuals but speedruns as well. Alright, so Alma is like, let's go home, and Elise passes out, so she's kind of sleeping at Iris' shop right now. And rather than saying, alright, let her rest up, we're gonna turn into Elise, or Alma is gonna turn into Elise, and we're gonna continue playing the video game. So instead of having really powerful magic to work with, thanks Alma, she decides to make herself weaker and use a supposedly sword replica, and it's just there's problems with this plot of the game. Right, so we're in Aquan Ruins, and people are still confused about how the element system works. Aqua being water, and we're totally getting owned right now, because that's how fish work. Fish RNG. It's not over yet. It's not over. We're at 1 health. Everything is fine. I'm gonna see if I can pull safety strats off, though. Everything is fine. 1 health is all we need. Yeah, this area is pretty fishy. Okay, well, the game did not like me and decided not to have that. But it's okay. Everything is fine. These red fish are absolutely horrible. But we're fine. Please attack. Thank you. See, we're absolutely fine. We've killed about half the enemies by now. And we have tornadoes. We're absolutely fine. Oh hey look, there's massively soaked egg toast, and we're just gonna eat it straight out of the swamp. No big deal. And we're okay. See, everything is fine. Except for the fish here that's totally owning me. But you know, we're fine. Just in case any of you missed the ever so annoying beeping noise, it's back again. And it's gone. We're just gonna have super soaked egg toast that's just been rolling around on the floor. We're fine. Okay, I don't know what's going on outside, but we're we're having fun. They're having fun out there. I know it picked up with the microphone, but anyways, we're back in we're gonna go back to talk about Aquan Ruins. Oh, there's more egg toast in the distance, but we're not gonna pick that up. So once again, we're gonna hit some of these specific tall grass to get some green gems, because we're gonna encounter more bombs, and bombs are horrible as they deal physical damage when they explode. And yes, they are actually horrible because damage scales the further in, and eventually the bombs are going to explode for about 40 damage, and we only have 60 health right now, so that's a little more than half of our health, but we're fine. Also, this knight came back just to fight us. Same guy, I swear it's the same guy. And for those of you who are Dark Souls fans, we like to call this dead angling. You know what I mean. It's unblockable. We're in front of the guy. He can't hit us. He... unstoppable. You can't hit us with this. I swear it's the same guy who spawned back just to try that fight again, because he's doing the same strat. So that bridge fell down, but we're not going to take that bridge. Instead, we're going to fall down, take 3 damage. Because for whatever reason, we take damage when we fall off the stage. And then instantly teleport to the entrance. And we're just going to slide around for a bit on these railings. And spawn our hidden chest. Oops. The fire crystal. We don't want to hold the skip text button here early, because that does charge up our magic, and then it'd be really awkward to run around in a circle for about 10 seconds. That is the music box. And the interesting thing about the music box is that there's 3 types of music boxes in this game. One that you pick up here, one that you exchange with fish, and then another one you gotta go purchase for a ridiculous amount of money. And the magic boxes give you the option to play the music in the game, and on the main menu, and it's shared between all 3 of your save files. So even if one of them has it and the other 2 don't, you can still play the music. But if you sell it and then save your game, you can't play the music anymore. And it's just weird that it does that. Tornadoes, they do work for us. We don't have to deal with those fish. Fish are absolutely annoying. So are these eye bats. But they're not as bad, because they're floating. But they do magic damage. So we just don't like taking 20 points of damage for absolutely no reason. Is that a blue gem? Yeah, it's a blue gem. 1, 2, 3. Yes, you can heal in this video game. It's even in the spellbook that they don't talk about. So if you go into the menu screen, there is a spellbook tab that tells you certain gem combinations. Certain, not all of them. And it just gives you enough information to get through the game. Alright, so here are some bombs again. We really don't want to touch bombs. They are horrible, horrible enemies to deal with. I don't know when these guys attacked. Okay. So we're going to take advantage of the high gem drop rate for jellyfish by unequipping our weapons and make so that we can hit them as many times as needed to collect all the red gems. All of them. I mean all the red gems. We will be taking every single one of them. Please pick up the gems. We have 6, we're good to go. Alright, speed readers, I hope you understood that. We found this, this supposedly non-existent blue rose in a jellyfish on top of a spiral a jellyfish fish tank, whatever you want to call it, at the top of a spiral tower, because water flows up. That's how it works, right? Oh hey, we can now equip 4 items. There's the blue rose, and we get to head back to town. For whatever reason, Alma is using earth magic to transform back. I wish we could do that, but we can't. Mystery woman. It's okay, they never explain who she is. We're gonna head back and sell some of these. We need the white gloves. And as much health as we can possibly get, which is not much. We're gonna head back to Alma's shop, our fortune-telling shop. Turns out she's not there, and she left a note saying that we should go off to Zephyrin Ruins. This place is wind elemented, but we're not concerned about what element Zephyrin Ruins is, because we're still gonna use wind attacks. I know, we're gonna use their strength, their own strength against them. As many green gems as we can possibly carry. $86 health total. That's less than ideal. So we don't have 100 health, which means we don't have infinite health. So we're at risk of possibly dying. Alright, oh here's the magic that we didn't need to see. I'm still not wearing the right gloves, but this is enough damage that I don't care. Swag grabs that golden statue. Get owned. Right, so where are all the red gems? I do prefer another red gem. Thank you. Thank you for dropping that red gem. It's a little hard to see that jump on my screen. I hope it appears well on Twitch's end. Ooh, 20 damage. 20 damage is not nice. These fish, as mentioned, fish are horrible. They move in an absolutely random direction, and then they open their mouths on intervals, which you can barely see on stream. I can barely see them in the game. And whenever they have their mouth open, that's when their hurt box appears. Kind of just sitting in shallow water. Jumping is a little bit faster because being in water slows our movement speed down. But if we jump out, if we're jumping, then the game just thinks, hey, we're not in water anymore. So you get maximum movement speed, whatever that might be. Getting owned. 1, 2, 3. That was a case of using a support gem. They never talk about that and how, well, they do in the tutorial. They say mix and match gems, they have different combinations, but they never get into detail about what the gem combinations are. And having a green gem as a second or support gem increases the number of projectiles. I'll take that hit. Hey, nice. We got all the gems we needed in this section. Alright, these are shell shrooms. This is the second time we encounter them. And whenever they're in their shell, they're immune to all physical damage. Hey, alright, well, fortunately we had lots of blue gems. Though unfortunately I have to go figure out a backup strat. And I don't get to choose what that backup shot is, as it's entirely based off of what gems we have. We're gonna grab the hidden treasure. This hidden treasure requires us to not be in a dangerous situation. That's absolutely vague, and they never really explained horrible hints. But here we are. Being down in this water section, or under the bridge, is considered a dangerous place. Not really sure what's so dangerous about this. I mean, seems pretty safe to me. Also, we're kind of just gem farming. Hoping that the game actually gives us nice gems and not horrible ones like these. And please move so I can actually pick these up. I need a green gem or a red gem. Never saw it coming. Blue and blue. 2, 3, 4. Now this is the first case you guys get to see how slopes work. To be honest, they don't work. Enemies slide down slopes. Gems slide down slopes. Gravity is apparently a thing, and friction is not. But for whatever reason, our boots seem to be okay with latching on to slopes. So somehow defeating all the enemies on in this area triggers the windmill to start. And somehow that windmill managed to find enough force to move the boulder. So there's something going on. Oh, also, yeah, it's kind of sitting in this hole here. So it would require an enormous amount of force to move that boulder of that size with just the windmill. Anyways, we're not going to talk about how wizardry works in this game, because now we're in a clock tower. We're going to position ourselves nicely. 3 dashes. Do a jump attack and hit that ghost, because that ghost can cause a lot of problems later on. Now, we are carrying an extra red gem. We're going to hope enemies don't fall off this ramp. Oops. I didn't mean to lock on, but we're fine. Everything is fine. Also, here's a tornado, and that's why we use it, because we can group lots of enemies together. Also, there's a guy right above me. Welcome to the party. Everything is fine. We're in the anime world, everything's fine. Hitting that ghost before he even has a chance to attack. Savage. Alright. We have one enemy to defeat left on screen. But unfortunately we've got to climb this really awkward set of slope stairs. I don't know what the architects were thinking, but it works. Here's another case of us running into the yellow barrier to skip the animation. Also, holy cow, that just dropped a ton of healing items that fell off the stage. And remember how I said gravity is just how slopes work? Yeah, here's a skeleton. Spawns right behind us and slides down. What a game. Okay, we want as many gems as possible. The reason for this is because there's a death plane, or like a despawn plane, like if you jump off this edge here, and oh, good thing we did not crit that. So gems just kind of fly off in a random direction at a random velocity at a random height, and they bounce at random. Their first bounce is random, so it's a bunch of random stuff that can happen when gems and money and stuff just drops. And more often than not, those gems that you really need, they fall right off the stage. Also, please lock onto the one that I want, thank you. Also, water is homing, so there's no need to lock on. We're gonna take advantage of that. Okay. I'm gonna play it safe and not rush out and kill the other mobs in this area. These mobs can be really, really bad. The skeletons, not so much, but once the skeletons hit you, you have this hit stun animation. His attacks are still animated. Okay, we don't need that. Very, very bad RNG. Oh well. Hoping for red. Hoping for red gems, and then that happened. I have no clue what's going on in chat right now. Ah, oh, well, there goes the egg toast because it just bounced off the stage. Little girls are immune to gravity. No, I need as many gems as possible because we just don't have gems to work with. Ah, I see. Okay, that's really unfortunate. That ghost just decided to fly off the stage, so we actually have to stick around. Because, remember that topic we had about enemies and their spawn radius? Yeah, we actually have to have this ghost be in our render cylinder or render circle. It's more of a cylinder, really. We'll take a hit. It's not a big deal. Yeah, that ghost just said no. Fell off the stage, and then we have to sit around and wait for it to hit the kill plane at the bottom, and it's a fairly long drop. Now we're gonna pick up, when we picked up that earth crystal, we didn't really talk too much about how crystals work. Yeah, casual 47 damage, no big deal. Now, how crystals work is that they change the element of your attack to whatever the element that it is, and it has a charged ability. So we're gonna use that charged ability right now, right after we give ourselves some super armor so we can tank a hit. Oh, just tanking all these hits, no big deal. That head probably would have hit for about 35 to 40 damage. So 19, not a bad deal. That's not a bad thing. So two random, really cute girls here. I almost just quit out of the game without saving, which would have been, well, end of the run. But fortunately, I stopped myself before anything horrible happened there. I have lost runs doing that before. Now we're back to a castle that spawned out of nowhere. We completely skipped the cutscene where this thing spawns in, and everyone's like, "This is made of pure evil, we need to stop it." I mean, what else would you think a giant floating castle in the middle of the map would indicate? It's totally not a boss or anything. Still missing a few gems. Still missing a few gems. Okay. Ah, menuing is hard. Red. Healing. They always drop healing items. Ah, almost let off the edge. I know, we can use all of our magic science to figure out how this giant floating castle came to be, and why we have this really weird Aurora Borealis barriers that's stopping us from entering when it kind of just stops partway. And after killing this knight, anyways, there's a lot we can learn. And it's gonna take us a lot of time before we can understand anything about this dungeon. And I just realized that we have the wrong gem order, but that doesn't matter. Everything's fine. One, two, three. Oh, I'm gonna let this crit NATO go. So, remember how I said we don't want crits? This is exactly why we don't want crits. It's a fun little thing to show off in a run. There was healing somewhere. Did I miss it? Oh well. Now we're kind of just trying to clear out enemies while getting a certain gem loadout. Yeah, crit NATOs. They're like the best thing to kill all your frames. Okay, good. I wanted a blue gem anyways. Hedgehogs, porcupines, we're not really sure what this is. It's a thing. It's alive, it's moving, and it drops gems, and that's all that matters. Blue gem, I need a blue gem. Blue gem? Please drop a blue gem? Thank you. There's some healing here. Let's grab some roast chicken made out of hedgehogs. We don't ask. They had it in their inventory. Oh, nice. Dropped a red gem. We're gonna need them anyways. Ooh, almost ran into 40 damage for absolutely no reason. Okay. Shell shroom? Dead shell shroom. We really don't want to deal with shell shrooms, so magic is the best way to go. Do we have the ideal gems? We should. There's plenty of everything. No, you don't understand. We have to kill things because they are stopping us from fighting the super evil that's in this game. Also, I really want to deal with this ghost before we continue, because that ghost deals a physical magical hybrid. And we don't have magic defense, so it's horrible. $27 health? I should be keeping track of my health right now. It is dangerously low. Yo, slime chicken. Now we are gonna wear some wing boots and speed boots. We're gonna wear 2 pairs of boots, please. Alright, is there a red gem on the floor? There is not a red gem on the floor. A little unfortunate. Because we get to see what super armor really does. Yes, we walked backwards intentionally, because that skips a cutscene that opens this door, which allows us to get the hidden treasure. And this one's a little bit strange. It's a giant door, and then we realize, no, giant door, bright lights are too scary because the sun is a horrible, horrible thing. And then it spawns this chest. Apparently contains a pair of rocket gloves. If anyone understands what rocket gloves are, I'd really like to know. Because I can only imagine that having rockets attached to your gloves would be extremely uncomfortable, as they would be heavy, and then you'd activate your rockets and then your arms would be dragged along with them. But we're here. Text appears on screen and this thing shows up, but we're gonna wear our rocket gloves. And we're gonna wear a knight shield. And we're gonna hope that a red gem spawns. Come on. Come on. Blue gems can stay on the floor. 2, 3, 4. We don't need these boots anymore. Now 2 of them spawn, both of them can cast magic, and it can be a horrible day for everybody. Now, even though I hit both of them, only one of them died. And this is kind of important to keep that one alive, as they share health. So it's kind of, it's ideal to hit both of them when they have more than 1 hit point. But once they drop down, and like one of them is defeated, the second one has a single hit point left. And this gives us the opportunity to set up a magic loadout, because the next area is absolutely horrible if you run in with no gems. This is the Archdevil, the super bad guy that we're blaming on turning everybody into a fairy. He goes on about like the story of how there needs to be a balance of mana and energy, and he's like the person who balances all this stuff out. But whatever, we don't care, we just want to turn into a human again. We care not about his ability to control mana. I actually want to keep... Please move away, hand. I know, he probably just wants a hug. I mean, he's a pretty big guy and looks pretty intimidating. He's probably really soft at heart. But, he turns red and hates us a lot because, you know, we hit him for about 10,000. No big deal. We attacked 3 times. Oh no, our attacks didn't work, and he's being a total jerk, and we can't melee attack him. So instead, we're gonna use our powers of being a blood-related fairy and sister, because anyone who wasn't paying attention or couldn't read fast enough, these two are blood-related. And the older sister is always turned into a fairy. We're gonna use our magical fairy powers to play a game of Touhou. I'm sorry, I've just ruined action RPG and turned it into a shoot 'em up. We're gonna be doing this for about 2 minutes, so if you guys want to go and grab a drink, take a break, stretch your legs, now would be a pretty good time. You know what? I could go and grab the hidden treasure here. But, I don't know. It just gives us more magic attack, and that doesn't really help us at all. So this boss has about 4. He has 4 attack patterns. There's the one where he crosses his arms. Here's one where he shoots lasers out of his wings in the back. That does magic damage, so do what we can to avoid getting hit at all costs. Because we're talking like 40 damage. He can shoot a volley with both arms. He does this twice. And then there should be a line attack that comes from the center of the body. And that one tracks the player. Here's the last attack. Oh, I just ruined Damageless. Guys, we just lost a life in Touhou. That's unfortunate. We don't have any bombs. That's unfortunate. Anyways, not a big deal. We're just about done. This boss has less than 10% health. I know, yeah, lots of yeah. Okay, so this is like the only time we ever want to have crits. Because doing critical hits is more than 2 times damage. It does about 3 times damage. So that's why we're doing a jump attack while the projectile is still floating. I hope you're ready on time. I know, reset. I'm gonna go through some dialogue. Some credits are gonna roll. Please keep up with the credits. I know all you speed readers out there are caught up with the storyline, so it's really important for everyone to keep up to date with how the story is going. Here we go. Shantae just sacrifices herself for the greater good. Also, yes, that purpley pink fairy is Alma. Some dialogue. Here are the credits. I'm glad we went through the song together. Some people visit the shop. It's a surprise and time. That is Chantelise, A Tale of Two Sisters. Alright, thanks.
Okay, great run. Thanks for it. Do you have anything to say?
I'd just like to say thanks, everybody. The people who are organizing the event, the people who are restreaming, the runners, and all you viewers out there for joining in here at NASA Marathon to enjoy some really action-packed role-playing games. And up next we've got Shining Force by Turbo Dog. So you guys get to have fun watching more anime.